Hi, my name is Frank Gittini, and I want to talk to you about the archetypes. People that know me know I am so passionate about these archetypes, and people that don't know about them, I want to teach them. And that's my default. All right, my default pattern is to teach everything that I've learned and the wisdom that I've gained from what I've learned to people that can benefit from it. I don't want to teach it because of any other reason than that. I just want to help people live a more empowered life. And the archetypes is something that I learned from Dr. Carolyn Mace 15 years ago. I studied with her for 4 years at her CMed Institute in Chicago, and I've been practicing and teaching the archetypes since. So I work mostly with men, but I started off working with women as well, and they apply to everybody. All right. So a lot of people ask me, why should I care about the archetypes? What can they do for me? And over time and learning them and learning the patterns in your life bring you a lot of power. But I want to give you a real life situation that where the archetypes helped me work through something, or my knowledge of the archetypes helped me work through something. So it was about 4.5 years ago, and it was a Friday night. I remember it clearly. And I came home. I was with a group of men that we meet regularly with on a men's team, and I got in about 11 o'clock, 11:30 maybe, and my wife was down the hall with our son. She fell asleep putting him to bed, and I'm in the kitchen, and she kind of surprised me because our bedroom is the other way, and she, you know, came down the hallway, and I didn't expect it that late at night. It's a little unusual. So she came up to me and she gives me a hug. That's not unusual. Then she looks at me and she says, "You love me, right?" I was like, "Yeah." She says, "And you love everybody, right?" I was like, "Yeah." She says, "And everything's going to be okay, right?" I was like, "Yeah." And she repeated it. She says, "And you love me, right?" I was like, "Yeah." "And you love everybody, right?" I was like, "Yeah." She says, "And everything's going to be okay, right?" "Yeah." Now, I'm getting a little nervous here, right? I mean, I don't know what's going on. I was out with my boys, and we come home and I'm feeling pretty good. I might have been leafing through some mail, and she comes out and she starts hitting me with these questions. And to give a little bit of backstory, about 6 months before, I had lost my job, and that job I had for 27 years. So at that time, I decided I'm going to start my own business. I wasn't financially prepared to start the business. It wasn't like I was planning for years or 6 months even, financially to kind of go through that startup period that where it's tough on new businesses because you're trying to get the income coming in and you got a lot of expenses going out. So I'm in that stage. There's not a big cocoon of money that I'm tapping into. There's a small cocoon of money that I have. And so this is where we're at. And then she says it again to me. She says, "You love me, right?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "You love everybody, right?" I said, "Yeah." "And everything's going to be okay, right?" "Yeah." And she hits me with it because I'm pregnant. And yeah, that's what happened in my head. I thought, oh my God, we don't need this right now. I don't need this right now. What are we going to do? How'd she let this happen? How'd I let this happen? And, and a lot of times for men at least, right, when we first hear that news about a child coming, it kind of might go to the financial side and how we're going to deal with it, how we're going to provide, because men are natural providers. So how are we going to provide? And that's what hit me, right? That's what hit me. The additional stress, the additional income that I would have to make, or the expenses that we were going to incur. All of that hit me like in a nanosecond. And I knew that was like a fear-based response, right? That was coming from a place of lack. So who do I need to be in the moment to move that situation forward? Who did I need to be for myself to stand tall and proud? Who did I need to be for my wife to feel good about her being pregnant, which every woman when they're pregnant should feel good about it. Who did I need to be to move that situation forward in the way that I wanted to move it forward? And where I had to come from was clearly the place of the king. Right? So that's what I did in that moment. I just envisioned myself as the king. And when she told me she was pregnant, I said, that's great. That's proof that everything is going to be okay. This is great. I hope it's another boy, I might have said, to kind of needle her a little bit, because we had at the time 2 small boys, and I had 2 grown, well, not grown, they were 16 and 14 at the time, at that time, right? So we already had 4 children, 4 boys. So I might have just gave her a little needle in. I hope it's a boy or I hope it's a girl. I may not even said, she might have said, I don't even care. But the point of the story is that I could have reacted. And I did react in my mind. You know, those reactive, I don't want to say negative, but fear-based thoughts flooded into my head very quickly. Those survival-based thoughts. All right, and that's what kind of comes up first. But I did not react to that reaction. Instead, I acted like a king. And I embodied the king, and I said, that's great. Because the king is about abundance. The king is about taking care of the people in his realm. The king is about being connected to purpose. And the king is about, and purpose sometimes is represented as the divine. Okay, so that's what I chose at that moment to step into, and to be the king and respond from the place of the king, and not from the place of a scared little boy. You know, what's going to happen to me? How did this happen to me? Blame, blame, blame. So that to me is a story that illustrates from my life, you know, what's possible through the use of the archetypes. Because had I reacted in my original, with my original reactive thoughts, my wife wouldn't have felt very good that night. She probably would have dreaded through the whole pregnancy. She might have, maybe to this day, she might have been blaming herself that we got pregnant. I was going to say that she got pregnant, but she might have blamed herself that she got pregnant when it's both of us, obviously. And I'm just so happy today that I was able to use the skills that I've learned over the years in that moment. Because if I hadn't, I may have put my foot in my mouth. And that's one of the things about the archetypes. If you've ever said, I can't believe I did that. I did that again. You know, that's where the archetypes can really help you, because you can see the patterns in your life. And then when you see that pattern coming again, you can choose a different way to go. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk more about the archetypes soon. Have a great day.